Good afternoon, Ray. Good afternoon, everyone. Ali v Joe at the Crucible may not have the global appeal of the Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier thriller in Manila, but an awful lot of people are interested in it. It's a World Championship semi-final, and this is by far the biggest match of not only Carter's but Perry's career.
Now, Joe Perry to break.
These are unexpected semi-finalists, though none the less deserved for that. Joe Perry has only reached one final and two semis in his 16 years on the circuit. And in 12 years, Ali Carter has never reached a final and only two semis.
This is the players backstage. He's doing an impersonation of our MC, Rob Walker, who really, I must say, brings a smile to the players' faces and everyone in the Crucible. And the boys certainly were enjoying it there. But it's all pretty serious now. Who's going to get through to their first level final at the Crucible? Another milestone in their professional career. And Joe Perry said there, Clive, as all players when they turn professional, their ambition is to play in the Crucible when there's a one-table situation.
Well, it certainly is a unique atmosphere, and thus a unique experience.
Well, that's a little gem of a shot. The positional side of it was very precise there, black tied up. Just one possible pot. Nothing goes into that corner, but there's one into the left middle.
Only 85% pot success rate for Carter, which is a little on the low side. Really needs to be 90 plus. Perry's percentage 88. Four out of five of Carter's safeties prevented Perry from potting a ball next shot. 90% of Perry's.
Yeah, Ali didn't settle as quickly as Joe Perry, and the breaks indicate that. His highest break was a 70. He did have a 49. But Joe Perry was much more consistent in the opening session.
11.
Although his highest break was 84, but he did have a 54, 62, 48, 68, 72 and 84. That's pretty consistent. Now, can he hold for the pink here? May have to go up for the blue. Just depends on the angle.
17.
No, that looks as if he'll just screw up and leave the blue on.
18.
A crisis was developing last evening when Carter was 5-2 down, but he managed to win the remaining frame of the evening after Perry had had first chance. Hawkeye shows us that Carter has a highly satisfactory angle on the blue.
Might play for the red near the corner pocket here. Yeah, because if he pots this, it'll clear the path into that corner. So he's thinking already 2, 3, possibly 4 shots ahead. And that's gone a little bit too far because the reds are available into the right corner. I think they're all blocking each other, as you can clearly see there, into the left corner. So he went a bit too far with the cue ball there. And that's the problem when you're playing little cannons. You're not guaranteed to finish perfect, but I think he's okay.
30.
May still be able to get through to cut one into this right corner. Well, he's going to have to go way up the table here because he's got the thinner one that he's got to take on.
31.
Carter, knowing that he couldn't hold for blue, made sure he'd got a good position on his baulk colour. Yellow would have been alright, but brown was better because it was just simply straight back off the cushion
35.
and onto this red.
Choices of reds to get on here. If he was to play a little screw shot, just slip up past the pink. Even if he cannoned the red to the right of the pink, he'd still be okay. He doesn't want to drop in behind it. You needed to hit it a little harder than that. That's a poor shot from Ali. It was the correct
41.
shot, but he needed a little bit more pace.
Ali Carter 41.
So the marginal imprecision of his positional shot brought that 41 break to an end. But Carter would have been well psyched up to make a good start, resuming 2 frames behind. Left of centre striking as Carter looked at it. Checked the cue ball off the cushion.
That's pretty good. He's covered the one near the left corner. So Ali's got to hide that red if he comes back down the table. He's got to be very precise with the cue ball here. Well, that's pretty good now. In fact, the black just clipped the red as well, but he did get the white in a good position. It's always nice if you can kill the frame off with one visit, and Ali did have a chance to do that, and he just went slightly out of commission, or out of position rather. This is the shot he played here, but he didn't quite just hit it hard enough and hit the red on the right side as we look at it. We'll just show you with Hawkeye. That's the sort of shot that he was hoping for, and then he could have pushed the red on, but he was certainly on the one to the left. Now this is thin, but it's there.
1. Green ball.
I had to take a chance with position because the potting angle was so thin.
Now they look to be all covering each other, these sets of reds. Don't think there's anything that pots there. I think he just hit that too hard. He wanted to be on the two reds near the pink, but just overhit it. I mean, it was a good green. He was hoping to finish somewhere near the other white I've just put on there.
Joe Perry 4.
It was one of those shots where he might have been thinking, I'll have a job to hit this hard enough. And he hit it too hard.
But the table is playing beautifully, it has to be said, and that's why he was a little bit too hard with it. I mean, the cloth's so lively, and you need to be cueing well to control a fast cloth, but that's the way the players like it.
Good shot from Carter, restricting Perry to a single red.
Which looks to be absolutely dead straight. Well, there's a slight angle. Now where's the red going to finish? Oh, we may not be able to sneak this in. I just got away with that, Joe. No, that won't cut back. Maybe try and get in behind the brown, but he's got to be careful he doesn't send the red onto the yellow. Black's causing a problem here. Got to make sure he misses that, and it's right in line of the safety shot. If you come off the top cushion, it's so easy to cannon into that.
Well, Perry on a 147, but not in a break.
Well, Joe looked and he looked and he couldn't see a safety shot, and he pulled out a little cracker there. What's the old saying, Clive? Good guys don't win. We've got two lads out here playing in the semi-final of the World Championship, and you couldn't meet two nicer lads. So sometimes they do win.
5.
Well, it's nice to see two respected members of the circuit's supporting cast enjoying the best week of their career.
11. 12.
Neither of them much thought of before the championship in terms of reaching the final or even the semis, but they're both here. It's all very well saying that the best players in that half have lost. These are the best players in that half in this championship.
So gradually getting back into this opening frame of this session. Needs a good angle now. He's got to be very precise to leave himself a good angle to then get into the two reds. He's still got the one near the cushion he could play for, but the two reds together are the problem. Now,
19.
what sort of angle? I don't think he can screw back and move the two reds. If he did have the angle, that would be the sort of shot he could play, but is it there? No, it was almost straight. And this looks pretty straight.
25.
Well, he's got a slight angle.
Joe Perry, 25.
Those shots not all that tough if you're rolling them, but they are tough if you're forcing round.
Ali did have a look at the potting angle in this red. It will pass the yellow, but it's a very risky shot, so I think he'd be looking at something else. Oh, double kiss. Oh, a bit fortunate there. I say a bit fortunate. If Joe can see this, he can get the white back behind the brown. I think he can. That's the sort of shot that's available to him. Not quite.
Carter scored first with 41, but now leads only by 12.
Very well picked out. He did well to not cannon the two reds. He'd like to take that one again. No wonder he smiles to himself. He's underhit that. But once again, Joe's got that awkward shot with the black there. He can see the reds, but the normal safety shot would take him into the black, so he's got to be a bit careful. Well, in fact, he can hit the other side, so that was a poor shot from Ali. He really did drop himself in trouble there, did Ali?
Yes, should have left Perry snookered.
Just can get past the green and the pink.
Needed to be thin, but not that thin. Tended to place that red somewhere on the side cushion.
Switch it off, please.
It's amazing. They're always asked to turn their mobile phones off, but somebody always forgets, and then when it does go off, you can see them panicking to press a button to stop it from ringing.
.965 seats in the Crucible.
Joe Perry 1.
Very intimate and provides a unique ambiance. Played that pretty well. The red was tight on the cushion. Sorry, yes, the red was tight on the cushion, so there was a good chance of leaving it on. It was quite a good pot, though, didn't it?
That was terrific, Clive, and the brown was over the pocket, so that made it even more special from Joe Perry's point of view. And if he plays the next shot correctly, he could pinch this frame. Oh, has he hit it hard enough? He was playing to come round the back of the yellow, and well, if he's dead straight into the middle pocket, he's been pretty fortunate there. He played to come round the yellow and leave the white the other side of it. That's where he was hoping to get the white, somewhere in that area, but he underhit it. But I think he might still be able to pot this. No, they're difficult whenever they're close together, and you don't see a reaction from Joe normally, but he did tap or rap the table.
Didn't assess the angle correctly, and the reaction shows that he fully realised the significance of that shot. If he'd potted the yellow, there's a very good chance that he would increase his lead to 6-3. This is Carter's chance to close to only 5-4.
5.
Psychologically, that would have been a big boost for Joe Perry, and that's why he was a little bit annoyed, because Ali was in and looked as if he was going to win the frame, and then he broke down. And to pinch a frame like that and extend your lead to 3 frames doesn't have to do the confidence the world of good.
$14.
2 snookers needed then. Who reduces his arrears to 5-4. taking up the point about self-belief, Ali Carter said in his press conference that he'd always dreamed of making a 147 at the Crucible, but that he felt if he did get near to doing it, he wouldn't be able to, and how pleased he was to prove himself wrong.
He screwed the white in off, believe it or not.
Foul. Joe Perry 4.
But at least the red next to the yellow doesn't go. But he almost moved that red, but the red he didn't knock the other red into is the one Joe Perry will take on. Now, which way will he play it? Will he go full-blooded to try and hold for the black? Or will he play it to bring the white back up the table a little bit? Because the black is available, and the way he's queuing at it, he's trying to hold for the black. Overdone it.
1.
Good queuing, good strike, but just got into it too much. Do you know, I'm just looking, the blue's a big pocket with the brown sitting, and he could get on the red to the right of the pink. Might be worth a go, because if the blue doesn't go directly into the pocket, there's a chance it could go in off the brown. He'd play it directly in the pocket, of course. Oh, he went inside the brown.
Joe Perry 1.
Yes, he had two chances, but just went between the brown and the pocket.
He didn't push the cue through in a straight line there, just cued across that one slightly, just stretching a little bit.
And also having to roll the ball rather than be able to punch it.
That kicked. That wasn't Joe's fault. The only consolation is, because he got the heavy contact, the white pulled up. You can see the red go straight to the right jaw of the pocket. And I don't think he can plant a red onto the one that's over the pocket. See, I think the red next to the black's in the way, so it's a bit of a we might have a re-rack here, believe it or not. I can't see anything else other than starting again here. And they might decide quite early on.
You happy to rack him? Re-rack.
The re-rack is mutually agreed. Only 5 points have been scored, so that was insignificant. But let me ask you this, Dennis. Sometimes a frame is aborted when somebody is 20 or even 25 in front. Do you not think there's a case for carrying forward the scores from an aborted frame to the re-rack frame?
Well, that's one I never ever thought about, Clive, but I can't see how you could do that, really. Because you've reached a stalemate anyway. It's happened where I remember Steve Davis playing Tommy Murphy in the team championship, and Tommy was 40 odd in front, and there was a re-rack. The referee offered them 3 shots and then they would start again, so that's the only way they can get out of it. But I see your point, Clive. Never thought about that. Be interesting to see what the boys in the studio think about it.
Frame 10, Ali Carter to break.
So, frame 10, take 2.
And Joe Perry's going to take 1 into this right corner pocket. There's a gap round the back of the black and reds. And that gives him a very good chance because the reds are nicely situated.
Four. Five. Ten. 11.
Now if he gets this right, he can give himself a great chance of opening the black up. That's the shot he'll be looking for. He's okay, he's on the line. Has he gone too far? No, he's fine, because the black goes into the left corner.
16.
And I say he's fine. He just needed another inch, and I don't think he's going to cannon the black here, is he? Can he avoid it and still get on the black? It's one of them awkward little angles, so maybe he is going to screw back onto that other red.
17. Twenty-four.
The reason he went into the reds that time because of the one to the left of the black, but it's finished a bit awkward, but he's got the one to the middle. It looked as if he might have been snookered on that, but he can clearly get through to it, as you can see. And another
25.
kick. Be nice if the blue would pass the other red, but you can see the white jumping there. So it's going to have to be a bulk colour if the blue doesn't go, and there's only a little bit of a pocket there.
Would have been nearer the green, but for the kick. But still not a problem.
28.
In that range.
This is
29.
a bit hard. This is a little bit hard, is it? No, he's okay. No bounce off the cushions. They seem to be playing very well.
Well, it's only the second day that this particular cloth has been on. That seems to
36.
influence the bounces. No fiery bounces
37.
until the cloth has been on several days.
Talking about bounces off cushions, Clive, I remember in my early days as a professional, I used to play at some of the holiday
44.
camps, and the cushions were just there to stop the ball from falling on the floor. When it hit the cushion, it didn't go anywhere.
45.
Well, I remember at one of those holiday camps, Ray Reardon steadying himself against the cushion with his arm, pulling back slightly and pulling the cushion off.
Just okay. He always was a big, strong chappy, wasn't he, Ray Reardon?
$51.
A typically neat break this from Joe Perry, who has a very sound game in all aspects.
He's just got a nice flowing action, and I like his mannerism round the table. He just wanders around and nice pace about him. In fact, in one of his matches, believe it or not, his shot time was down to 16 seconds and he wasn't dashing around the table.
Well, he must have been flowing very easily from shot to shot with precise positional play. But he's not quite over the line in this frame yet.
That's the cannon he's looking for there. That would open things up. And he's took his eye off the black. How many times
Joe Perry, 57.
has Joe done that in this match, where he's got to over 50 and then misses a straightforward shot?
Well, I think it's been a problem that's plagued him throughout his career, missing important balls on the brink of winning matches or winning frames.
1.
He was within a couple of pots of going 6-4 ahead.
Well, this will hurt Joe Perry if Ali Carter can convert this chance. He's got a long way to go, a lot of balls to pot, but he shouldn't have been at the table. Joe should have already clinched the frame.
Oh, 8.
He might even play for the difficult red this time. Just looking where he finished, he didn't intend to, but it could work to his advantage. Depending on the angle, if he can pot the black and drop on that red, he'll get the difficult one out of the road first. It's okay.
15. $16. $23.
What a chance now to draw level.
$24.
Just overscrewed that slightly. He wanted a straight red and play for the blue, which is much easier then to get to the yellow, but he can't do that now. Now he's got to do it from the black, and if he's finished dead straight, he's made it awkward. He might be able to punch this round the angles. It just depends on where he's finished. if he's just off straight, he might be able to punch the black, and he's looking at the pink now because that'll take him over near the end of the white line anyway. But it's imperative he gets nicely on the yellow.
$37. $39.
Carter still needs all the colours.
You could see the backhand there of Ali
42.
Carter. You don't grip the cue too tightly. Fairly loose grip, and then grab hold of the cue as you follow through. And shouldn't have a problem clearing
46.
up. Having said that, he's left himself straight on the blue. He did it under extreme pressure when he made the maximum break. He took them really well. So just a tricky little pink, which would have been easier if he hadn't have been straight on the blue.
Well, just the pressure.
Ali Carter, 51.
Just the tension. Just an instance of clincher's disease. He would have potted that normally, but it was the significance of the shot rather than its intrinsic difficulty which defeated him.
Now where's the pink going to finish? Is it going to cannon the white? Well, this is a very tough cutback, but I'm just looking at it. If he does take the pot on, he's going to have to go all the way down the table and back up again. That's the angle that he's looking at. I think he might just... Is he taking the pot? Just a little thin safety here. We'll find out very shortly. Just a little thin safety. Good choice under the circumstances.
Very in difficulty, but at least he still is in the frame. He didn't expect to be when Carter stood over the pink for the first time.
Not the best, but this is a much more difficult pink than the one that Ali missed. You can take it into the right corner and it'd finish on the black. You could take it in the left corner and finish on the black. Both pots are tough. Looks like he prefers the left corner. No.
Well, hasn't left it at least.
Advantage Joe Perry. Now this is tough. he tries to double the pink back up the table, he could quite easily catch the black. So he's got to be very precise with this. If he misses the black, the pink would have went up past the brown spot, but it was so tough to avoid canning into the black. But this is not a tough one that Joe's faced with. Just a safety shot. Too tough a pot, this. Well, he did. Where's the pink going here? Oh, he didn't want to take the pot on. He thought about the safety shot, and then he just seemed to get down and play it very quickly.
Got it very quickly in disgust. Almost the pink, not the cue ball in, which would have left Carter the easiest of pinks. That's a good shot. Both players have had very good chances to win this frame.
Now at least there's a chance if he gets this right, because the pink's just away from the cushion. He might be able to put a bit of distance between cue ball and the pink, but can he get the right angle here? He did. He did. He played that very well.
He's got a good safety game, Perry, both in attack and defence.
I'll tell you what, that was a great effort. Now Joe has now got the chance, but this was so close.
Frame ball for 6-4. Carter could only sit in his chair there and just hope that Perry didn't pot the pink. Now he's got a chance himself to take pink and black.
Well, this is probably even tougher than the one that Joe attempted there. And he's got to play it with quite a bit of screw if he wants to get out onto the black. This is the shot that could draw him all square. Yes! 6.
Perry had a great chance to go 6-4 up. Missed a black from its spot within a couple of pots of clinching it. Also missed a Carter, who missed a chance himself, finally gets home on the black to level the match at 5-all.
Frame. On the odd occasion when somebody's got a big lead and the other guy is trying to get back in the game, one player decides to close up the game and the other tries to open it up. It's a tough one. Most times I don't think it comes into the equation. You could ask the referee for his opinion in whether or not one player was trying to be too defensive and force a re-rack.
Do you think, John?
Well, generally it's up to the player who's in front. If it looks like it's going to be a stalemate, say you got a 30 or 40 point lead,
it's generally your prerogative to open the balls up a bit more and do something about it, because you don't want the stalemate because you've got that lead. So it's an interesting point he's put up, but at the same time, you know, it's the way the cookie crumbles. Some days you're going to be 40 in front, some days you'll be behind when it happens.
Clive, you asked and we answered.
Well, it's a talking point still.
Those two in the studio should be politicians. They didn't really answer the question, did they? And my answer, by the way, Clive, is no. Not a good safety here, unless the green comes to the rescue. There's still, well, the blue may have come to the rescue for one pot into the left corner, and the green to the rescue to the one to the right. So he's been, that is very, very tight. And look at that, fractions. That's what this game's all about.
Carter must be feeling pretty good at the moment, because last evening he was 5-2 down, but won the remaining frame of the day and has managed to win the first two this afternoon to level at 5-all.
Ali Carter 4.
Always have to put that down as a bad mistake, because we all know where the pockets are, and you shouldn't really get the cue ball anywhere close to it. Test of cueing here. Type of shot that players practice hour upon hour.
Both on 65%. Long pot success rate. And that was unlucky. Potted the blue.
Ali Carter 1.
And
Draw Perry
red
5.
flashed out of the bunch and into the corner pocket. White as well. So this red on from hand.
Well, not a good sign for Joe Perry and his fans there. He missed that by a long way, and maybe he's still thinking about the previous frame. Let's just have a look at this again. Pink straight onto the red and in the pocket. I mean, Ali didn't come and have a look at the bunch, but I don't suppose you'd expect to knock a plant like that in. But just going back to Joe's shot, he missed it by quite a way there. That doesn't go.
From the baulk line, Perry would have been disappointed to miss that. But he must be irritated to have lost the last frame.
Yeah, over a 4 session in a semi-final match at the Crucible, you've got to put shots like that and frames like that completely to the back of your mind. I mean, he's sitting at 5 frames also. Why worry about that? Now he's potting balls that he's not playing to pot. It's not a good sign, Clive, when you miss the balls you try to pot and you pot the balls you don't try to pot.
No, but I did see Peter Ebdon pot a ball with a double like that intentionally.
Draw party 1.
Now this is it's a tricky one as well. If he pots it, he may avoid the cannon into the reds there. But if he misses the pot, he could go into them. So he'd like to pot it and slip past them. Can he do that? Well, playing a dead weight. What a shot that is! 1. The table's got to run pretty true to pull that type of shot off. Tight on the cushion, dead weight to drop on the black. 10 out of 10 for that.
Eight, touching ball.
Certain to be on the back red as the cannon develops another red.
Nine.
Ali's certainly looking the more confident at the moment, and I suppose the fact that he's won 3 frames in a row is causing that.
I think Carter, of the two players, is the more likely to have an inspired run. Perry, I would think of as slightly the more solid. But both of them, I'm certain, went into this match thinking that they may not ever get such a good chance to reach a final at the Crucible.
Just looking at the reds, they're not ideally placed by any means. He's got the one to the left middle pocket that's available. Just having a look to see if anything goes, but I think he's going to need a cannon in a couple of shots time. I think he's got an angle on the black just to run round and leave that red that's near the middle pocket, playing with top spin there and a little touch of right hand side. That's just to send the white running off the cushions. A little bit more pace would have been better, unless there's one that goes into the bunch, but I don't think there is. He played for that loose red there. Oh, this is perfect now. That's if you can get the cannon correctly. In fact, it's... well, he's got a choice here. If he goes straight into the pink, that's good, but even if he slips past the pink on the right side and cannons a red full ball, he would open that little bunch of 4 up. That's what he's thinking about now. If he doesn't go into the pink, that would be a good choice. Would open things up. Now, he hit the pink. He didn't play that, but it may be okay. He played that other cannon, but at least he still got a pot on.
38.
Only just missed his shot by a fraction, but it's worked out not too badly.
Ali Carter, 38.
Overcut though. Carter perhaps wondering how the cannon was going to work out.
One.
Now, can Joe Perry reverse the roles here and do to Ali Carter what Ali did to him in the previous frame?
Eight. Joe Perry, 8.
Well, not good.
Once you put the red onto the near jaw at that pace, nowhere it'll go in. He just seems to be suffering a little bit, Joe, and maybe he's still got some of his thoughts on the previous frame, which he's got to forget about as quickly as possible.
One.
I'm just wondering, and Joe will be wondering, if Ali's got an angle on the green to get into the 4 reds. Yeah, he has. And he's played it well. It could have been better, but the red still passes the pink, but it's a tricky one.
4.
I'm certain Carter was expecting a better result once he hit the green so well and saw the cue ball going towards the cluster.
Terrific.
5.
They had a long way to roll, but it was only just off straight, and a natural angle for position on pink. So this is Carter's chance, and a very good one,
11.
to take the lead for the first time in the match.
And if he does go on to take
12.
this frame, it will be 6 frames out of the last 8. He lost the first 3, so you'd have to say that Ali is just taking control of this match slightly.
$14. 15. Twenty-one. 22.
So Carter's got this frame in the bag.
Twenty-eight. 29.
It was Ali who looked a bit edgy at the start of this match, but he's certainly
36.
the more confident player now of the two.
38.
There's nothing like winning a few frames to give a player confidence.
41.
He was 5-2 down. He's going to be 6-5 up.
45.
Yes, you sometimes see
50.
that shot, trying to get the cue ball nearer the pink from the blue via
56.
the top middle pocket jaw.
And the frame,
And the frame is well won, so he could afford to try that. Breaks at 38 and 56 in that frame then for Ali Carter, who was in front for the first time at 6-5. Last frame before the mid-session interval. Both these players have spent the last few seasons either just inside or just outside the top 16. Their top 16 places are secure in the end of season rankings, which will be issued on Tuesday morning.
One.
Good pot, but a bit unlucky the way it's finished there. He's hampered on the pink. It's too difficult to pot on the black. Well, it looks as if he wants to take the black on, but he's walked away from it, and now he's going to play the yellow to get the white
Yellow ball.
tight on that ball cushion.
Draw parry 1.
Both these players have come here more match tight probably than they've ever been, because there's a new event called Championship League Snooker, which is a qualifier for Barry Hearn's 7-man Premier League, which tours the country in one-night stands in the autumn. It's a very complex system. There are all groups in Championship League are 7 players. The top player goes through to a winners group. The next 4 stay on for the next group, and the bottom 2 drop out. And both Perry, who won a group at his 4th attempt, and Carter have got some valuable match practice from that new event.
No, he couldn't anticipate that happening. He's got a terrific cue ball, but he couldn't anticipate a red springing out of the bunch and finishing right over the pocket. And that's a wee bit unlucky. Difficult to control the white here though for Ali Carter, but he could get himself onto the pink. Now, is he going to play? Well, he was thinking about playing a little exhibition type shot, a shot that Jimmy White has played here at the Crucible Theatre. If he hits it with topspin, watch the cue ball. Now he's just rolling it, and it could have been better.
1.
Yes, the cue ball just caught the corner pocket jaw. Carter intended the cue ball to bounce out for a much better position on pink. Caught it slightly too full.
Now that's terrific cueing from near the cushion to knock the pink in at that pace.
7.
And he's on the cushion again, but the red that's closest to the white is much easier than the one he looked at into the corner. It wouldn't be a bad thing if he could cannon the yellow here. Left him perfectly on the blue. Yeah, I thought it was an angle there to put the white onto the yellow. Nice little stopper there.
$13. $14.
That's just took the red away from the black spot area. The black spot is clear. Mid-session interval coming up, and Joe Perry knows that there's a possibility he could lose all 4 frames.
$21. $22. $29. $30.
Well, he doesn't really have to go into them here. I mean, it's the perfect little bunch to cannon into, but the way they're placed, I wouldn't go into them. I'd just pick them off here. Because there's a couple of reds available into the right corner. There's the one at the back available into the left corner.
37.
He's 36 points in front. There's no point in trying to develop a few there.
$38.
He hasn't quite got enough side to get him the correct side of the blue, but the two reds to the right are not badly placed. The only thing is it's going to be a slightly longer pot than he would have liked. Oh, he's screwed it a little bit further than he anticipated. It's even more difficult now.
43.
Good chance to clinch a 7-5 lead this.
I think he might be able to drop the black in, and if he just comes off the top cushion and leaves the white at the end of the line, he's got a choice of 3 reds. He can play it that way or he can stun it round, but he'll get into a similar position at the end of the line there. Yeah, that's fine.
$51. $52.
His highest break has been a break of 70 in frame 5. He could surpass that here.
$59.
Perry's highest break is 84. In fact, he has scored more heavily. But it's Carter
60.
who's won more frames. Perry has totaled 595 points, Carter 543.
Funny enough, last season Ali only made 7 century breaks. This season he's already made 22.
67.
It shows you that he's much more consistent.
68.
He's clinched the frame, and it also shows, Dennis, that he's been playing in Championship League snooker. He's played 157 frames in that.
Yes, that's much
75.
better than being in your club, putting hours and hours of practice. You can't beat match practice.
76.
If Carter could complete the century, it would be his 4th, including, of course, his never to be forgotten 147.
$83. $84.
Might just have spoiled the chance of getting a century there. He underhit that. It's quite a delicate shot to try and pot the black and cannon the reds. That's why he's hitting it so low there. Well played, very well played.
91.
Yes, the frame is well won, but the crowd always likes to
92.
see a century.
$98. $99.
The 56th century of the tournament is assured. And the record for centuries made during a championship here
104.
is within sight. That record is 68.
106. on the frame.
So a very satisfactory afternoon's work for Alistair Carter. He's won all 4 frames, the last one with a break of 106, and leads by 7 frames to 5 at the mid-session interval.
There's John Parrott though.
The intermission sometimes alters the course of a match, and Joe Perry is certainly hoping that that's going to be the case today, but of course he's got to make it happen. Carter's pot success rate was 84% at the start of the session, now up to 90. Perry on 87. Two and a half sessions to go in this match, and I forecast a tight finish.
Well, it remains to be seen whether the mid-session interval can change things around. It does so many times. We keep mentioning it. And that's a pretty good return safety shot from Joe Perry. But he has lost 7 out of the last 9 frames.
It's odd, really. The time that I expected Perry to be most vulnerable in this match was when he played his best in the first 3 frames, in which he had breaks of 54, 62, 48 and 68, and that came after a dramatic late night 13-12 win over Stephen Maguire the previous evening. But he's only won 2 frames in total since then.
You can see the reds, the 3 reds that are to the right of the pink and reds, but that's such a thin contact to get back down the table. He's got to get this just right. He could easily go into the pocket here. Played it well. Maybe a free shot for Joe Perry. Red into the right corner. There's a gap and the black is awaiting if he could knock this in. If he doesn't get through that gap, he can go around the left side of the red as we look at it, so that is definitely worth a chance. I think the reason he missed the pot there, Clive, you could see how much right hand side he had on the ball to avoid the cannon. It's amazing how many people, when they start playing the game of snooker, they think you've got to put side on the cue ball to help the pot. As soon as you apply any side, the pot's much more difficult. Well, it looks as if he's maybe attempting this. It might just pass the black. A bit too thick though. Still got a good cue ball. Is Ali looking at the possibility of going round the back of this red? No, it's not on. He's in big trouble here. I thought there might have been enough room to get in behind the first red there to take the one that's near the pocket, but there's not enough gap there. That's what he's faced with. What a clever shot that was. Okay, the red's still over the pocket, but it was a pretty good effort.
Very well worked out.
I think he thought he might flick this red away also. He just missed that red. If he had moved the red away from the pocket, that would have been a superb effort.
It'll take a good shot to get on a colour here.
One.
Well, that was amazing. He potted that into the right side of the pocket, because look at the angle. You'd have thought the white would have hit the right side of the pocket as we look at it, and it hit the left side.
Brown ball. Drop Harry one.
Now there's two reds together. I know he can't get through to them, but that could be made into a plant, but he'd have to knock one red onto it, and he can't really do that from the position he's faced with at the moment. But that is a distinct possibility. So now we know that the plant is available.
Those very thin safeties very well.
You might have a look at the plant again. He's coming around the table just to... You see, he's pointing the tip at the two reds. If he can see enough of the first red, he can make it. He's got to pass another red though. But there's a gap back down the table also. Now, I think he can make this.
One. Ali Carter one.
Could have taken on the brown, but with the reds well spread, preferred a certain snooker, leaving Perry in loads of trouble.
Got to get an awful lot of side on this to get to this red that's sitting on its own here. Doesn't want to hit the left side of it as we look at it, and he has. That's no good. And if he's straight on this, there's a possibility he could get on the black here. And just depends on the angle. He can screw back with a little bit of side and swing out and give himself a chance at the black or the pink here, looking at that angle. Now, watch the side as he hits the cushion. Played it to perfection. Well, that's a little bit unlucky. It means he can't control the cue ball now.
Eight. Nine.
That was terrific to hold for the blue there, and now he's given himself a superb chance. But the screw back that he played on the red here, now he hit this with lots of right, well, Hawk, I'll show you exactly, that's where he's aiming to hit it, hitting on the right side, and when it hits the cushion it spins to the left, and just watch the angle here. Years of practice.
And without that right hand side, the cue ball would have cannoned the black.
14.
He certainly is taking control of this semi-final at the moment, Ali Carter. Joe Perry, I think that 10th frame when he made the break of 57 and looked almost certain to take it, has knocked him for 6 a little bit, you would have to say.
Yes, at the end of that 57 break he missed a black off the spot.
21.
Perhaps concentrating on a cannon, but needing only a couple of pots to clinch the frame. But you're right, Dennis. Carter has worked up a head of steam. Above all, Perry must keep close to Carter so that the problem of actually clinching the match with only a frame or so to spare comes into play. It's easier to clinch a match when you're several frames in front.
Maybe another plant here. Yes, he can make that and still finish on black or pink.
34.
Striking the ball beautifully at the moment, Ali Carter.
41.
He's getting through the ball nicely, as we say. A little bit like a golf swing. When you get through the ball, you get a good strike on it.
42.
screw back and leave a red into the same pocket. Just slide up past the pink and red there, you can clearly see it.
$49. 50. 56.
Another red in colour then. It's all Carter needs to increase his lead to 8-5.
It's a bit straight on the black, but he won't bother about that. As Clive mentioned, the black will be enough to put Joe Perry in a spot of bother.
Well, he will play position, but he certainly won't strain for it.
$64.
Maybe the red potted the one between the two reds and the pink, but well, does it? It goes up into the corner, if not the middle.
Ali Carter, 64.
The 64 break, which leaves Joe Perry needing 2 4-point snookers. Had Carter potted that, Perry would probably have conceded. Any red potted by Carter would leave Perry needing 4 snookers.
Yeah, I think Joe wants to carry on, try and get the snookers, but I think he wants to knock Ali Carter out of his stride, because he had a 106 break, and then the 64. So he's the one that's flowing, and Joe hasn't been getting much table time. Now that's a nice position for the 4 reds to be when you need 3 reds, 3 blacks, and then you want to start looking for the 2 snookers. Not much chance with the reds up the other end of the table.
So this to put the issue beyond reasonable doubt.
One in the frame, Ali Carter.
So More trouble for Joe Perry as Ali Carter goes 3 frames clear. He leads by 8 frames to 5. Well, Carter is in a winning streak. He's still a long way to go though. First to 17 wins, and Carter, though he's 3 in front, hasn't quite got halfway towards his target yet. A very different challenge, a long match like this, than the circuit's staple best of 9s.
Yeah, Joe's just got to try and forget about what's happened and start from here. This is where he's semi-final starting, as from this moment. That's the way you've got to think.
Perry has got to do something to shake Carter, because at the moment Carter is very confident. Pretty well everything's going his way.
Yeah, his safety play is going to have to be absolutely spot on to try and force Ali Carter into giving him a chance.
Good shot, made sure he got the cue ball low enough.
That's the famous Cliff Thorburn dump shot. Leave the white up here and dump the red up the other end of the table.
To prevent a safety to the baulk cushion, unless you move the red.
And would you call that one there, Clive, a reverse dump shot?
A reverse dumper.
Be careful he gets this right, because that red near the right corner is cuttable. The only problem, if you took the cut on, you'd be canning into the red there, just to the left of it. But he's now coming round to have a look at the angle. Maybe it's just a safety rather than trying to sneak it in. It's too risky. Little thin one here. And he has played those so well in this session. Might have a free shot this time. Ali can cut this red in and go round the back of the black. Maybe just playing the safety shot again. He hasn't looked at the possibility of snicking it into the right corner. That's far too pacey. That's just a little bit of tension to overhit it by that much, but he might just have covered everything. I think he's gotten away with that. It's all covered this side. And the other side, well, that is very tough. And the fact that the black's not available. It wasn't easy. Is this a chance for Joe? Maybe not. You want something easier than this as a starter when you've been kept off the table for so many frames. But well played. Good cueing there.
Yes, it was. But Perry, having totaled only 16 points in the last 3 frames, has got to make that initial red lead to something substantial.
Might just be able to get on to the black here.
7.
Black's just available into the right corner, but has he got a good angle on this red to get over behind it? Yes.
8. $15. Oh, 16.
He was nearly a little bit careless with that. That hit the jaws. Which means he hasn't finished on the black as he intended. He can't quite hold for the red that's next to the black now.
Had to play a cannon, and this is certainly not as good as the shot he should have been playing had he potted the black. Potted the red cleanly.
Where's the red going? Right over the pocket.
Joe Perry, 23.
He is struggling a little bit at the moment, Joe Perry. That was all caused by the black that he wobbled. It did go in, but he didn't get on his intended red. And now Ali Carter back at the table a lot quicker than he thought he would be.
1.
Now that could have gone astray.
8.
He didn't want to cannon that red, he wanted to find the gap, and then he would have been perfect. He's got a long one up into the corner pocket past the yellow, but he's quite close to it. That's a tricky one. And the cut back into the right corner is just as difficult. Might be able to play this in such a way that he goes round the back of the 2 reds. Well, he's cannoned the reds, but he's got the pot. And he might be able to take the yellow on here. He won't be hampered. Red's over either middle pocket. So he's got to have a go at the yellow.
Well, not absolutely clear cut, but certainly a possible frame winning chance.
12.
I keep telling you he's got a very compact cue action, Ali Carter. He's not the tallest of players,
16.
but everything looks so comfortable. And the stance just looks not unlike the
17.
great Joe Davis, who probably wasn't a lot taller than Ali, I wouldn't have thought, Clive.
No, but Joe had the cue running under his left eye, very pronounced left eye stance.
And the old traditional stance, one foot forward to the other, whereas Ali is more square on when he's
22.
striking. Mind you, most of the top players now, they're
23.
very square on compared to the old players.
More reds developed.
30. $31. $37.
For a few years now, Carter has been a good enough player to win something. But it's just lacked
38.
that fine edge of self-belief when he's needed it most in clinching important wins.
Okay.
How will he be if he gets close to the winning post in this, the most
44.
important match of his life? One thing's for sure, if he's several frames in front when the winning post looms up, it'll be a lot easier than if he's only one or two ahead.
$45.
Yeah, he had a bit of a setback, didn't he, in 2003 when he had Cronin's disease. That didn't help. He had to have hospital treatment.
Yes, and he still has to watch himself
50.
as a result of that. Had an operation, and as he said, it was more serious than he realised at the time.
He stunned that. He didn't mean to stun it.
51.
He meant to push the cue through with a little bit of top spin, and he hit the white in the middle, and there was the stun effect.
So it's rather characteristic that he's slipped up on the verge of winning this important frame. Trying too hard.
Yeah, that's where he should have finished. I'm just going to put the other white. If he finishes there, pots the black, cannons the two reds, the frame's his. But now it's all change. He's just having a little think about this, whether to take the black on or not. He's 28 points the difference. It's one of those
51.
really, when you're not playing a perfect position, you never put 100% into the pot. Now this is a tough one that Joe's faced with.
Although Carter in the end played the pot, he certainly didn't strive for position. So Paddy could still snatch this frame. A pity for him that he got a kick on that red. He would have been on the pink at a different angle, but for that.
Let's have a look at these. The white jumped right in the air, but at least the red went in. But how does he get to the two difficult reds now? He might not even bother potting the black. Just making sure he gets a possible snooker here.
Your parry 1.
Trying to parry that, but for the kick he would have been on the pink at an angle which would have enabled him to develop the two remaining reds.
Doesn't want too much pace on this, he just wants to drop on them. No, not quite, and it could be a free ball. It could possibly be a free ball, this.
Free ball.
It is.
Yes. Free ball awarded when the non-offender can't hit both edges of the ball on, and when reds are concerned, all reds are considered as one, so another red doesn't prevent the free ball. Black nominated as the extra red.
But not a good shot. He's got to take another colour now, but no angle when potting the green to get to the reds. If the blue goes, he could do it from the blue, but it would require a very good shot indeed. That's the shot that's available to him if he can judge it to develop the reds. I'm not sure what he played there in the end. He's
6. Joe parry 6.
Not the best of safeties either. Carter comes to the table 17 in front. Possible red. Chance to clinch the frame to go 9-5 up.
He can stun this in, you know, and finish on the black if he cues it well.
1.
Not the best positional shot.
8.
Carter needed only red and colour after he potted that black. Well, maybe it just goes, but he should have left himself something easier.
Well, you've got the perfect picture. We'll know if it's going in here. No. Well, he's got
Ali
the
Carter.
second prize. And it was a pretty clever shot, because if he managed to pot the red, he just rolls tied up behind the black.
It was a great chance to clinch the frame though at that visit before he lost position. Carter still needs only a red and a colour to increase his lead to 9-5. Not that easy though, having to strike downwards.
Well, that's a pretty good run of the ball. Alistair just held his hand up there, just to apologise for that little bit of good fortune,
Which he was very glad of.
I called him Alistair there, which a couple of years ago, you know, his name is Alistair, but everyone calls him Ali Clive. What is he like?
Oh, he prefers Ali. Simple to lay a snooker there, but the interesting part is whether Carter leaves the red on.
Well, he has. Can Joe Perry somehow hold himself together to clear these?
One.
Can he pot the yellow and hold for the yellow again? It would have to come back on its spot. Might be okay. Well, he's had to run away somewhat, and if he's dead straight on this, it needs good cueing to screw back. He wants the white back somewhere near where it is now, or even a bit further. Look where he's striking down on the cue ball. Not quite. Still got a chance. He's got to take it to the middle pocket, off this back cushion and up past the blue. No, no, concentrated so much on the white there. He really is feeling the pressure out there.
So Carter needs only one of the 5 remaining colours to secure the frame.
What's the pace like? Has he got the snooker? He has. No matter how long you look at it, this type of shot, you've got to just try and get out of the snooker and hope that you can get it safe. You never know where they're going.
Chance for Perry, who needs all the colours to take the frame.
He's going to need the extension on his cue, and I'm right down the line of the angle. I just think he might be able to screw this back, you know. Now, if he can screw over to that side of the table, he'll leave the pink for the left corner. Big shot for Joe Perry. Not hard enough. He didn't get into it. He didn't get the required screw. 12.
It wouldn't be all that bad if he only needed the pink, but he also needs to get on the black.
Well, I don't know if the angle's there. It would need some shot to pot the pink and come off the left side cushion and get him behind the black. I don't think the shot's on, so I think he may even refuse the pot here. No, he's gone all the way around the houses. What a shot this is! What a shot this is from Joe Perry.
18. Yes, all the better with the tide running against him. On the pin, Joe Perry ends his 6-frame losing streak, thereby reducing Ali Carter's lead to 8-6.
John, he's going to pop this black and he's going to march out of the crucible.
Yeah, I thought that's exactly what he'd do. He just, you know, as I say, great pink and black, but then you just get out the auditorium, just, you know, you compose yourself and let your opponents have a little think about the mistake he's just made.
Plenty more twists and turns, no doubt.
Just as the match appeared to be running away from Perry, he could, if he won the 2 remaining frames, be level at 8-all overnight.
Yeah, at the end of the frame, I think Steve Davis picked up on it. This was Ali as Joe walked out of the arena. That little shake of the head said, "I've missed a trick there." That was a free shot for Joe because they're all covering each other here. A round of applause, but there is a pot available into the right corner. So let's see if that last frame has restored the confidence of Joe Perry. Okay, it's not easy to get onto a colour. That's the pot he's looking at. And there is a bit of a gap there. He may be able to screw between, but even if he cannons the red, he'd be okay. But he's got the gap, and he got the main part of the shot. And if he can get on the red that's near the black spot and he can screw back and do that, he really will open things up. Played to perfection. And he looks much more confident now. It's amazing how that frame can just change things.
6. $13. 14.
Straight on the black's okay. He can screw back past his hand and leave one. Now you can see it at the end of the bunch. Oh, look at the bounce. Look at that come off the cushion. We were saying it was going so well, and suddenly you get a bounce like that.
21.
Well, that's the first we've had as noticeable as that this afternoon, and at a very unfortunate time for Perry.
He might be able to retrieve the situation. This red into the middle pocket, I think he can take it on and leave himself on the black. A little delicate shot, depends on the angle. He might be able to hold for the pink. Yeah, it was almost straight, so he was okay in the end.
32.
Oh, where's the pink gonna go? Now, where's the pink gonna go? If there's room between the two reds, he might be snookered on this one. No, there's room enough to go on his own spot. But it's just making it awkward striking.
28. $36.
He showed
37.
what character and what bottle he had when he came back and beat Stephen Maguire in that final frame shootout.
Yes, that was a terrific win. 13-12 over a player who is going to finish second in the end of season
44.
rankings.
$45.
Could have done with just a few more inches of pace.
And now the stun run through shot.
50.
Which is one of the toughest shots to play in the game. If this red's straight. Well, it's just off straight. So he was able to come off the
51.
cushion.
$58. $59.
There's the difference. So he's almost over the winning line,
66.
and he'll just be one frame behind. It's a turnaround again in this semi-final.
67.
Already enough for the Carter leading 2 snookers.
72.
His highest break in the match has been a break of 84 in frame 6.
$80. $81.
Beautifully developed.
$87. $88.
He's okay.
93.
That's another super shot. Okay, the frame's over, but he cued that beautifully.
94.
This will be Perry's 5th century of the tournament, the 57th in all, pursuing the all-time record of 68 when he won championship.
$102.
The 80th of his career, and Carter looked very rueful. He missed the boat in the last frame, which Perry snatched brilliantly, and Perry
107.
used that tide turner
109.
to make this excellent century.
$112.
The semi-final is really back on again.
116.
John Parrott said he couldn't pick a winner, and that's the case again because he's closing the gap, which looked like it was going to open to 3 frames, but
127. 127 on the frame for Perry.
Food for thought for Carter. That a splendid break of 127 from Perry reduces Perry's deficit to 8-7. Didn't intend to double the red that far back up.
Yeah, that was a strange one from Joe to hit it that hard. May have to put a little trace aside on it, but no, the way he's cueing it, he can pot it direct. And he can get on the black also.
1.
Well, if he finishes the right side of the blue, that's even better, because he can go straight into the pink full ball now. So, key shot coming up. That mistake from Joe Perry could be costly if this works out. As long as the red isn't covered with the blue when the blue's re-spotted. Is he unlucky?
6.
Well, he's walking around the table briskly, so maybe he can see enough of it, and he can, and might just be able to. Well, let's see if he drops it in. He'd leave a chance at the blue. If he plays it with a bit of pace, might be able to get the black, but I think just dropping it in might be better. Yeah.
7.
This was how Perry let Carter in. Hit the red harder than intended. But for the kiss would have been closer to this red.
Now, is he going to be fully committed? There is a possible pot on, and he could stun round the back of the black. If he hits it harder, then he will head up towards the table, but that's a distinct possibility for him here. Well, he stripped the other red, but it's okay. 13. It was all about the pot. Okay, to flick the red like that and finish on the black. A little bit of good fortune, but it deserved it after the pot.
$20.
That was a bit unlucky. He played the cannon well and he got the white to stop there. But everything's a little awkward. Looks to be one that would cut back into the right corner. He's going to need the rest to do it. Beautiful. Beautifully played.
31.
Looking pretty good now.
38. $29.
Well, even though Halley lost the last 2 frames, if he could convert this chance and take this last frame of the session, he'd be more than pleased. It would mean that he won the session 6-2 after losing the opening session 5-3.
32.
That's a pretty good performance.
33.
I'm just looking at the bunch. I'm not sure if the two reds near the pink spot are available into the left corner. They seem to be covering each other into the right corner. The white somewhere near the pink wouldn't be bad here if those reds go. The must do. He's played it well.
36.
Yeah, a little bit further and closer to the reds would have been better for this next shot. The cannon has held them on the pink. Pretty high standard for this session.
43.
His putt success rate has gone up 6% to 90, and Joe Perry sitting at 89, so they really have improved. And Ali's had a century break.
44.
He's had a 56, a 64, a 51, well, two 51s, and Joe Perry's had a 127 and a 57.
There's been a 50 break in every frame except one this afternoon.
$50. 51.
Which makes another red possible to the same corner.
Well, every credit to these two players. First time here at the Crucible Theatre in the semi-final, and they've put on a good match for us, and it's going to get more and more interesting with each frame.
$65.
So, simple frame ball for Carter.
56.
Perry led 5-2 with Carter, who winning the last frame last evening, and the first five this afternoon went 8-5 up.
Can't wait for tomorrow morning session, Clive. Can Joe Perry get Carter, do you think?
72. $73.
Well, he's certainly given himself a better chance from 8-5 down by reducing that to 8-7. But he's going to be 9-7 behind, presumably tomorrow morning.
$79. 80.
If the reds go, he can slip past them on the right side of the table. Well, he can get to them from the pink, so obviously the pot. Been a terrific effort this from Ali Carter.
86. 87. $93.
Arian Williams having to run around the table at the moment where Ali's playing.
Craig Carter's second century of the session.
101. 103.
He made a 106 to go 7-5 up. In the last frame, Joe Perry made a break of 127. It's amazing what he can do
110.
when the frame result is no longer in doubt.
Yeah, book these boys for an exhibition and this is the sort of stuff you'll see. And there's another exhibition shot.
115. $121.
So Ali Carter ends the session with a total clearance of 128 and leads Joe Perry by 9 frames to 7 going into tomorrow morning's penultimate session.